Hi, how's everyone doing tonight? It's a nice night, huh? It's nice to get out once in a while, without the kids, let your hair down, relax. You don't have to worry about the kids embarrassing you. We get to embarrass ourselves tonight, like Joe with his dancing. Those of you that have kids know exactly what I'm talking about, being embarrassed. If you don't have kids yet, you'll know soon enough. If you don't plan on having kids, well, good on you. You just keep partying it up and embarrass yourself whenever you feel like it. The rest of us need somebody else to laugh at once in a while anyways. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Jared Jones. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. I want to tell you about just a few of the things she's done to embarrass me over the years, and I want you to ask yourself, you ready for kids? Now, my daughter is very outspoken and friendly, which isn't necessarily a good thing. She's never met a stranger, and you don't really want your kids being too comfortable talking to people that they've never met. But on the other hand, you don't want to discourage your kids from being friendly either. We've all seen those kids that scream bloody murder every time an unfamiliar face looks at them. Well, I think that would be embarrassing, to have a kid that you can't take out in public because they cry every time a stranger looks their way. I don't have to worry about that with my daughter. All I have to worry about is what she might say to people. She thinks she's found a new best friend every time somebody speaks to her. She doesn't hold anything back. We were at the store the other day and she started talking to this lady that worked there. Now, this lady had dark hair, but she had a blonde piece right across the front. And after a brief conversation, my daughter asked her, "What's that ugly thing on your hair?" Now, I was embarrassed. I can only imagine how the lady with ugly hair felt. I just hope she had kids and understands. That same day at the store, my daughter and I decided to leave my wife to her shopping. She was shopping for clothes, and we decided to break off and go explore the rest of the store. Kids get restless if you leave them in one place too long. They get bored. And so do I. So we decided to occupy ourselves and go browse the rest of the store. And we found ourselves wandering by the ladies' underwear section. Now, I tried to keep walking and encourage my daughter to do the same, but she found a bra that just fascinated her. And before I could distract her and get her to keep moving, she exclaimed loudly, "Daddy, this is a booby thing." Now, I felt myself start to blush, but before I could get her attention away from that bra and get her to move on, she was wearing it and talking to her audience about her new booby thing. Well, I finally got her to put it down and carry on and go on about our business, but not before I was thoroughly embarrassed. And my wife was spared that time. That was all me. But she's had her fair share of embarrassing moments with our daughter too. I can remember one time when my daughter was only a few months old, my wife decided she wanted to go to the mall. Now, I was at work, so her and my daughter went on ahead, and I was just going to meet up with them later. Well, when I got to the mall, before I even made it through the door, I could hear a child screaming at the top of her lungs like somebody was torturing her, and I immediately recognized that as my daughter's voice. Now, as I got closer, I could see the look of frustration and just sheer embarrassment on my wife's face and everyone around her. My daughter had been crying for over 30 minutes, and nothing my wife did could calm her down. Well, I picked her up and I put her up on my shoulder, and she instantly stopped crying and went to sleep. Now, people were cheering and clapping and giving me the thumbs up. I got a standing ovation for getting my daughter to stop crying, and I felt good about the situation, but my wife was more than embarrassed. But she got over it. Now, potty training was another adventure. Nobody likes to change diapers, but it's one of those joys of parenting. It's not so bad when they're real little, but as they get a little bit bigger and older, it's just gross. So we tried for several weeks to potty train, and my daughter just was not having it. Till we realized that if she was naked, she would go to the potty every time. So we decided to let her run around naked, at home, obviously. That'd be a little embarrassing to have a little naked kid running around Walmart. I think it would. So we let her run around naked, and it worked. She potty trained within a week or so. But then we were left with another problem. She felt like she could run around naked anytime she wanted to, and she didn't care who was around. Let me tell you, when you've got a house full of people over for Thanksgiving dinner, and your 2-year-old comes streaking through the living room stark naked, it's a little awkward. It can be embarrassing. Another thing that came out of potty training was now she tells us when she has to go potty. Now when a kid tells you they gotta go potty, they gotta go now. They don't tell you ahead of time. By the time they tell you, it's time to go. And they are never discreet about it. When they tell you they got a potty, it's urgent. And with my daughter, no matter what, when she's got to go potty, she frantically screams, "I gotta poop!" And that can be embarrassing. Especially if you're at church where it's quiet, or if you're in the movies during one of those quiet moments when everybody can hear you. It's happened both times, both places. And it's embarrassing. The joys of parenting. But I don't want to discourage anybody from having kids. They're great. They really are. I think everybody should have one. They do embarrass you and they do some crazy things, but you get over it. They're a lot of fun. And they're great little conversation starters too. Nobody ever used to talk to us when we went out, but now everybody wants to talk to the baby. You make friends you never had before. They really are. They're great. There's nothing like a child with no shame to spice up your boring life. Nights like tonight come few and far between when you've got a little one at home, so let's get back to it. Thank you for your time. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening.